everybody. The spring equinox is here, and I wanted to bring forward some messages around the energy of that and how it's going to affect the collective, what we need to be aware of, any shifts and changes happening. I was directed to pull some cards for that. That will come up while I channel guidance from some of the guides who have stepped forward to share this message today. I find it interesting that Saint Germain is wanting to come forward because I was sensing his energy earlier. I was sensing him kind of wanting to, I was getting a pull to, that he was wanting to come in for this message. And then when I checked to see if there's any other guides around, I pulled the card of his twin flame, Lady Portia. And so this is Saint Germain. So they're both on the violet ray. They both work with the violet flame. And but Lady Portia is more known for justice and like law and order. And divine order is what it says on her card. So she's not as familiar of an energy, but I do know that she is around, and she does come in as a guide for certain people. And a lot of what she does and they do together is work with karmic imbalances. So I'm curious if there's a theme around that, with maybe some of the shifts coming up. I'm not sure how it ties into the equinox energy and what's going on with that. But I also feel a strong sense of Archangel Orion around. He's been kind of showing up for me and drawing my awareness to him, and he's the next archangel that I'm going to channel a Q&A with coming up soon, hopefully. But I'll need some time for that, because just with all these extra messages that I do around these kind of big dates that we've got, like the spring equinox, and we had some full moon stuff happening. And then also, that's a reminder, my last video was with Merlin about the full moon energies and divine soul magic, and I've been tuning to his energy a lot, and he's also related to Saint Germain. Some say they were incarnations of each other. They're definitely part of the same like soul family or tribe, whatever you want to call it, over soul. They're different aspects of each other that have played out through their separate lifetimes, and they're both into divine alchemy. So they're both masters of divine alchemy, which is inner transformation. Merlin's more known for magic in that sense, but it's really all the same thing. It's playing with the forces of nature and utilizing your own creative powers to manifest the reality that you want. So interesting that he's coming in strong today for the equinox energy, because typically the spring equinox is all about springing forward, creating something new, giving birth to new life, thinking of what nature not nature, but spring represents in terms of nature, and what nature gives us in the spring gives you a good sense of where you want to be in your life and what you want to be aware of or working on individually, to really hone in on that energy wave that comes in, that kind of fresh start type of energy that comes in, renewed energy that comes in with the spring. So the spring equinox this year is taking place on March 20th, which is a Sunday, March 20th, and it's 2022. So coming up, and today is the 18th that I'm actually channeling this, which is the full moon energy. So there's a lot going on right now. Lots of transitions, lots of changes happening. So let's get into it. I'm going to ask, I haven't tuned into these guides yet. I really feel a strong tie to Archangel Orion, though. I feel like they are all here at the moment. I'm seeing Lady Portia standing next to Saint Germain, kind of in front of me, but then I see Archangel Orion over to my right. So I feel a draw to bring him forward now and to have him share a little bit about his message and why he's choosing to step forward in this way. So let me just tune to his energy, because he's not an archangel that I channel very often, but he does come in for clients, and that's why I have a curiosity to learn more about him. He has come in for me when I first started channeling, but not much since then. So let me tune into him. He has a very galactic feel about him. Obviously, there's a connection to Orion with his energy and the beings of Orion, which is interesting. The galactics. Yeah, what is your message for us today around the spring equinox? What do we need to know, and why are you stepping forward? He's stepping forward on behalf of change and manifestation of higher outcomes and higher ways of thinking, looking, and perceiving things, a higher perspective around what's happening. He offers a higher perspective around what's happening on Earth at this time and the shifts and changes that are evolving as we speak, that are demonstrating to us through the physical changes. And I feel like he's talking about the light body that's happening within our own systems and our light body systems. He's saying we're being activated at this time. He's talking about a portal and a gateway to higher dimensions opening up. There's a strong pull towards the galactics. There's a strong, it's almost like a magnetic force pulling us towards the galactics more. It's like a sense of wanting to look up more and needing to really connect with that realm more, to anchor in more light on the planet. More light is being shined down upon us at this time, and it is helping to create new growth, to not harvest, but to plant new seeds and allow those seeds to grow into full maturity. He's showing many of you are at full maturity and have reached full maturity when it comes to the idea of being a star seed, being activated on your mission and understanding what that means for you. Most of you have been listening to your soul calling. You've been following our guidance for a while now, and you are falling in alignment, and you're finding your place, your true place, and where you're going to stay and be. The frequency holder that you are, where you are planted on the earth. You've taken root. You've grown into a full maturity as a tree, and you have many branches and many leaves, and these are starting to connect outwards and spread the truth farther and farther as you go. So he's commending us for that. He's commending us for the work that we've done. And he's highlighting like the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. So from that perspective of being a light worker who has already been planted and growing for a while, he wants us to really look forward at those who are still little sprouts. He's saying still little seeds in the ground, and there's just they're fighting their way to push their way up to the ground, to see the light of awareness, to see the light of truth. And he's saying, and you are holding like branches with fruit growing on them. We're carrying this or providing this sense of like shade and protection and in warm, loving energy for them to kind of feel into and to see when they come out, like how far we've come, and to know what is possible for their own growth is helpful at this time. So he's saying it's all about birthing new ideas and allowing these new ideas to sprout like seeds and grow to full maturity. And he's highlighting higher outcomes as well. to manifest into higher outcomes, higher possibilities for all to enjoy and flourish. So he's saying that is really his main message, is just the feeling is like he's done with that message. It feels to me like he's saying that's all he really wanted to share. It's more of drawing your awareness that he's around, and he's starting to connect with more of you as a guide in this way, because he's helping connect you to not just the star system Orion, but the galactics, and he's just another guide that works in those higher dimensions and with those higher dimensions, and he brings forth insights and wisdom and knowledge from the stars that helps us to connect the dots of who we are and what we came to be and the services we came to provide at this time, and our role for humanity and greater purpose at this time as light workers. He's saying, so he's making himself known for the purpose of drawing in those who feel a pull to connect with him, who feel a resonance with him, to call on him as a guide and to begin to get to know him better. And also, he's kind of also stepping back because he knows that I'm going to do this Q&A with him coming up, and I feel like he's holding, he's holding back because he knows that that's to come, and he doesn't want to take up all of the time, but he does want to present himself to us in that way. And he's also guiding me to talk about the Mercury, the god Mercury. I believe he is, I want to say Roman. It could be Greek. There's different, one is Hermes and Mercury are both kind of similar, represent the similar deity. And I don't channel him much, but I'm learning that he has a connection with Thoth as well. And that's a guide that I do want to channel soon. That's been coming in for me, an Egyptian god. So there's a lot of relations between all of these gods and goddesses and ascended masters, and I'm still trying to figure out how they are all connected and the ways that they're connected and relate to each other. But let me tune into his energy, because a lot of, they always have me pull cards before I share messages, and the cards have a meaning. And with him coming in, there's definitely a emphasis right now on communication. So his cards, it's open communication, get a weight off your chest, speak up with love and be heard. And the other card I pulled from a different deck, which is my crystal therapy deck, is healthy communication in relationships. Heart-to-heart discussions and clear assertive communication help you understand and be understood. So, yeah, it feels like it's all about learning to speak up for oneself, learning to speak your truth, knowing that you will be heard and understood, and having the feeling of being understood. So he's saying never shy or never back down from speaking your truth when you are in a place to do so. This is part of the work that's being called on you to do. This is part of what it means to shine your light. We are needing to be shepherds of the truth, and that means being willing to speak your truth. And he's highlighting the throat chakra. He's saying many of you have imbalances in this area that need to be tended to. Those of you who have trouble speaking up in a group will notice sometimes that your voice gets a little shaky, or you feel anxiety coming up from your heart chakra, or like a feeling of just jitteriness, or just not feeling confident or comfortable like sharing this out. He's saying those energies are being cleared, and you can call on him to help clear that pathway for you to speak up more clearly and in a way that supports your highest growth and the highest growth of others. So really honing in on your talents and abilities will help you to see the way that you stand out among other light workers in your community. And he's saying this is a time to stand out, not stand down. So there's definitely still very much a warrior type energy that we need to help us shift. Or if we shift into the warrior type energy mode, it will help us shift into our higher awareness of our strengths and capabilities and how they serve us to feel more powerful in our abilities to create and speak our truth in a way that empowers others. So it's really for the highest purpose of all spiritual growth, but it is what is needed to show others that they too have a voice and can be heard. And just too many people are shying away from just putting themselves out there, from testing out those human relationships, those heart connections with other people, by not speaking clearly and assertively their truth and their message, and the message of truth that they have to share that comes from the heart. So heart-based centered connections is really the goal for mankind at this time, and what we should be working on in our personal lives and with ourselves too. He's saying honest communication with yourself, being real with yourself, being non-judgmental with yourself, being honest with yourself, being able to look at all parts of yourself, see them all clearly and honestly, and see where some are feeling maybe neglected or unheard or angry or whatever it may be, but just being aware of how all these parts of yourself integrate into the whole, and there must be peace within all of your parts, which is really a message that's been really stressed a lot, this peace within. But this is about open communication. He keeps saying strong communication skills, working on those is very important at this time for you to grow to full maturity and full capacity as individuals and on a collective scale. So putting yourself, he's highlighting in opportunities where, and I feel like I pulled a card for this, so I'm going to, my eyes were drawn right to it. When you are pulled into opportunities where you can participate in a group dynamic similar to the practice sessions that I hold, and the more you're willing to put yourself on camera or just get out there in front of a group, and a safe group that you feel comfortable with, and share your truth and share what you know, it's helping others to grow and expand and connect the dots. So looking at yourself as someone who always has something to offer through your own experiences and your own insights, even if they're not the same from others, is still presenting a multidimensional view that is necessary right now. He's saying we need multidimensional perspectives. We need bigger picture perspectives. We need to see the bigger picture and how all the pieces fit. And that's what we're being called to do. I didn't pull a card on that specifically, but I thought I did. I think I pulled that multidimensional viewpoint card earlier, but it's just they're drawing my awareness to it. So it was for some other purpose that I had drawn that card. So it's not in this particular spread, but nonetheless, it's relevant. But this was the card I was thinking of when he was talking, and it's increased support. Your positive focus and willingness to receive have opened the doorway to an abundance of help and opportunities. He's showing that there's open doors in front of us. There's gateways in front of us. There's many groups and communities that have been established by these light workers that were Orion was talking about earlier, that have been kind of holding it down. They've been steadily growing for a while now. There's a strong sense of support now. So go where you feel drawn, where you resonate, where it's high vibe, where there is a lack of judgment, where there's a feeling of support and like true, he's saying brotherliness, but it's that feeling of family that you can share honestly without feeling without doubting yourself, without feeling uncomfortable or insecure in those situations, like you're fully supported. And he's saying that's very important at this time to be an open communicator. So I just keep hearing him saying open, communicate open, share openly, share with vulnerability and purity is what he's saying. And so with him saying the word purity, it's drawing my attention to, I pulled from the Sacred Forest Oracle deck, and that's an elemental deck. And this card came out, and it's the unicorn card, and purity, and it's relevant in the energy that he's kind of talking about right now. I feel he's saying there's a lot of unicorn energy on the planet. It's almost as if we have achieved a certain status in our like ascension path is what I'm hearing, that we've opened up this portal and doorway for the unicorns to come back, and it was hard for them to be here for a long time because of the denseness of the energy of Earth. But I'm hearing like 7th dimensional frequencies with unicorns. I'm not sure if that's accurate. I'm not an expert on all the dimensions and how they all work, but I'll just throw that out there. Purity for the unicorns is what the unicorns bring in, this pure white light energy. It's very cleansing, it's very healing. It takes us back to kind of source point, like our original, like kind of a blank canvas where we were just pure love and light. And we're being guided to connect with the unicorn energy at this time. It's very strong on the planet, and the more that we connect with that individually, the easier it will get for all of us to open up our hearts to each other and to really expand in our growth by helping make new heart connections, heart-based connections with each other through our interactions and socialization and our meetings with each other, and how we learn from each other is really important, and being stressed at this time. So I'm feeling a draw to kind of go into more, to tune into Lady Portia and Saint Germain now, and I'm really feeling their energy coming in together, and I kind of see them like coming in together at the same time, holding each other's arms, kind of linked in that way. So let me tune into them more, and Saint Germain is wanting to speak first, and he's saying, hello all, hello dear souls, dear ones. It's a pleasure to be back to connect with you in this way. It's an honor to be here with my other half, Lady Portia. It's very rare that we come in together in this way, but it should be known that we are working side by side, helping humanity lift in vibration and transmute all that no longer serves on a planetary level, on a collective level, and on an individual level. We are coming in more together as a team, showing ourselves more as partners in this work, because justice and order are needed to help balance the effects of the darkness that has darkness and suffering, that the suffering that the darkness has caused on your planet, to lift those in that frequency of darkness or suffering and fear up out into the light. And a lot is happening on it feels like in the realms of like divine order and judgment. It feels as though, legal matters are shaping up to support the light and to support more wins for the light. There's legal activity that will continue to come into the forefront. So he's showing it as like a light is being shined upon the errors in the ways of the legal system, and how the legal system has been utilized to keep ones in the dark, and to it's like to hold humanity back in certain ways from ascending. Excuse me, just get my water here. So they're working together in that way, and he's highlighting the third eye. He's drawing my attention to the eye there, but he's saying third eye. So he's saying third eye activations are taking place on this important portal date. Again, he's kind of highlighting like an opening up, like a portal date, a strong portal date. So third eye activations are happening, and that's just helping everyone to see more clearly the truth. And this is happening on a collective scale, so it's by divine decree that ones begin to see more clearly the truth and discern more clearly with their third eye and their heart what the truth is. So that's being activated, and that feels like a win for us, like something that like we've earned, or we've that's playing out in the higher dimensions for like a gift from them, so that we can and it's for all the collective. So even those who aren't maybe fully tuned to their spiritual side, or even that they have a third eye, it's more about just helping people to see more clearly using their hearts what is true and what is false, and what is in alignment with the higher good and what is not. And so that's one of the shifts that's going to take place. That's one of the things that's shifting on a higher level, that's going to help people see more clearly and make better choices when it comes to whose word they take as truth. And that's really interesting. But my eyes are being guided also over here. So this purple is the strong frequency with Saint Germain and Lady Portia. So they're drawing my attention to this. It's own your own divine power. Replace codependent people-pleasing with assertiveness and empowerment. And he's saying, yes, people-pleasing. That's a bane for humanity. This need to always go along with what other people are telling you is truth, just to fall in line with, what you think people want you to do in order to sort of just please the crowd, versus becoming self-aware and aligning with your own power. So that's an important theme, he's saying, that's coming out and playing out right now in the collective. He's saying another important theme is around love. And this goes along with the harmonizing forces of the number 2 frequency that's coming in with the year 2022. There's a lot of 2s in there. And then there's a lot of mini portals happening on, like, for example, 222 was a mini portal date, February 22nd. And even the dates of the 2nd and 22nd of each month are kind of other mini portal dates. There's a lot of activation points, and it has to do with, he's saying, twin flames. So they are twin flames. That's why they stepped forward together to kind of highlight that aspect of this coming together. There's this coming together and harmonizing of twin flames, the twin flame union. So a lot of twin flame activations going on. And a lot of people being reunited or united with their twin flames for the first time this year and moving forward. And a lot of people becoming aware of their connection to their higher self and the divine. So that's also symbolic of a twin flame union. When you align with your divine self, your higher self, you're aligning with that twin flame union template, he's saying, and you're helping to integrate that and anchor that template in, so that more and more of you will then start to draw your physical twin flames into manifestation. So a lot of ascended masters are going to start showing up more with their twin flames, and archangels are going to start showing up more with their twin flames when it comes to giving messages, or just you might start sensing more twin flame energy around you in that sense. And I have noticed that with my clients as well, and some of the guides who are stepping forward, like Archangel Michael, for example. He'll come in with Faith, his twin flame, a lot, Archangel Faith. And I was starting to question that, and I finally just channeled a message with her, and she was kind of explaining what that concept is according to, from an archangel perspective. But it's really interesting because there's really like highlighting that the theme of love and harmonizing. So this card says love life, new or renewed romantic love is here for you. And he's saying that's what I'm talking about. New love, new hope, new beginnings for many people. It sounds like a lot of us are going to find love in May or the spring if we haven't already. Like, you know, with the coming of the spring, flowers, he's saying love is blooming, love is in the air. It's really interesting. So, yeah, that's beautiful. I'm really, you know, something to look forward to. If your partners aren't around, you might draw them in the springtime. It's fresh. It's the energy is ripe for that. I'm hearing. Okay, so they have me shifting to karma releasing is what he's showing me wants to talk about. So yeah, a lot of karma releasing patterns that have been held within for a long time are starting to dissolve. So this has to do with like the history of humans, like knowing who they are. This is a new cycle starting, he's saying. With the spring equinox, there's a new cycle beginning. And in this cycle, these are the shifts and changes that are going to be happening. He's just trying to clarify because it feels like I'm jumping around a lot, but these are the themes and lessons or themes and changes that are, the energies are helping to ignite or carry into the new cycle of the spring cycle and into the rest of the year. So karmic releasing, a lot of karmic patterns are being released and kind of burned away. He's showing by the violet flame and the energies of ascension that are coming in. And he's saying a lot of you have been doing this work very intentionally, but even if you're not doing this work intentionally, just know that these cords are being burned away. He's showing them like just dissolving because they're no longer necessary. Many of you have learned greater lessons. You have achieved higher states of consciousness, and when you rise in consciousness, you lose. A lot of these automatically dissolve with each rising in consciousness. You're essentially not tied energetically to these past mistakes, if you perceive them as mistakes, but just past dramas, he's saying. Dramas is the word that kind of keep you feeling stuck in repeating the same energetic pattern through your relationships and karmic debt. He's saying a lot of karmic debt has been paid and transmuted in the lightworker community, and this is helping all to raise to a higher frequency so that these are being kind of burnt out and through the collective at an accelerated rate. So even those who are unaware of how this change is taking place within their lives, this is what's also helping to unite the twin flames by burning up some of this energy. And it sounds like they're working on this. They're helping the collective with this very specifically with the violet ray, because the violet ray they're showing me is, and flame is really the tool, the spiritual force that's being utilized to release these karmic ties. And there's many ways that it's being done, but a lot of us light workers are also, he's saying, being called to serve in this way by helping others to release these karmic patterns through the different techniques that we have learned as starseeds and light workers, whether it's through energy work, whether it's through healing work, whether it's through like emotional release work. There's just many strategies that we are using to help others kind of burn through this and raise in their vibration. The point of all of this, he's saying, is to own your divine power, kind of highlighting that card again. And he's highlighting the deep emotional healing, so that's what he's talking about. This is, with each new cycle brings a new cycle of emotional healing work that needs to be done, more shifts in consciousness taking place, more dark, energy that's denser and that maybe we've been holding on to from our past lives or even this lifetime, traumas in this lifetime. He's saying it's always a time for emotional healing, but it's just being highlighted because this is like a new round of it might be coming through. You might find yourself working on new areas that you weren't paying attention to before. It's just like with each new cycle, there's like a new area that needs to kind of be cleansed and worked on and healed when the time is right. So this card says your heart is ready to heal from past experiences and you are willing to devote time and energy toward therapeutic care. So more energy spent, more of a calling for those who maybe have been in a dark place for a long time. It feels like there's just going to be more of a push for them and more nudges from their guides to just go get the help that they need. And the therapeutic care that they need, and he's showing there a lot of them are going to be going down the spiritual path for that. They're going to be turning to spiritual sources for that healing, not necessarily like the hospitals and the mental health facilities, but a lot are going to be guided to the light worker community for those types of healing. And so there's going to be, it feels like, kind of a rush into or for some of our businesses might, if we're in that type of work, it feels like there's just going to be more people looking for that and searching for those healers and helpers. And this was another card that came up, gold, divine intervention. God sends miracles to answer sincere prayers. And he's saying, he's highlighting these other cards kind of go along with this message. So I pulled 5 cards from my Moonology deck, and they're all very strong messages kind of saying the same thing or leading to a positive message. So basically, there's a personal issue that reaches resolution. So the feeling is that a lot of us are going to feel at the beginning of this cycle that something came to an end, that something feels like it was resolved. There was some kind of part of ourselves he's showing that we have healed, or that's been integrated, or that's kind of fallen away because it's no longer needed. An aspect, or it just feels like it's been transformed is actually what he's saying, that we've transformed something about ourselves that is bringing in this new side of ourselves. So something has been transmuted and healed, and that's making way for the new. He's also saying you're very close to achieving your goal. He's saying in terms of your mission, you're very close to like falling in alignment, many of you, with where you're going. So just hold steady, hold that steady pace, and don't have any fear about what lies ahead, because he's saying a win-win outcome is forecast. So he's saying that goes for all light workers and the collective as a whole. It's a win-win outcome. There's nothing to fear with any of the shifts and changes that are happening. And he's saying, lastly, prosperity lies ahead. So again, he's highlighting, and I say again because I feel like Merlin talked about this, the need to really focus on prosperity and abundance. And I feel that's what Archangel Orion is also here to remind us of, because he has to do with manifesting, yeah, of course, because this is manifesting miracles on his card. Thank you, Orion, for manifesting your miracles in my world. I don't even think I read that earlier. Prosperity lies ahead. Yeah, there's definitely a very clear message, even from Merlin's last video about the full moon. That's actually happening today. Prosperity lies ahead. So think, just whatever you do, the feeling is like don't picture yourself living in a world of lack. Picture yourself living in a world that is abundant. There's enough for everybody. There's enough food for everybody, enough money, enough water. All the resources are accounted for, and there's nothing to fear. Because I feel like that is kind of an agenda that's being pushed right now in the darker aspects of things, to provoke people into fear and to give people like an insecure feeling about you know, where we're headed financially and what the outcome is going to be, and the need to like save and conserve, but we really have to hold on to, and that's what he's showing me gold again. That's why gold is so important. You really need to hold on to that. Everything is made of gold, he's saying, that you have the, well, this makes sense coming from Saint Germain. He's saying that you have the ability to turn lead into gold. Remember your powers of manifestation and divine alchemy. And that's why I am here to remind you of this. And that's why Merlin is here to remind you of this. We all work together in this way. We all work as one in this way, although we have different ways of saying it and expressing it. It's the same message. It's all about inner transformation leads to outer transformation, and that ability to bring joy into your life and the feeling of abundance into your life by being abundantly joyful, he's saying, is really what's going to draw in that prosperity for you and give you that feeling of prosperity no matter where you are, no matter what your circumstances or conditions are. And you can hold that state for your brothers and sisters who are still experiencing lack or a feeling of not having enough. You can give to them. You have more to give to them from that place, he's saying, than from any other place, than anything that even money can buy. He's like, just giving your love, giving your support, also, and giving your joy to the world is really what makes it an abundant place for everyone on all levels, physical, emotionally, and spiritually speaking, because we're looking at all levels in that way. Okay, I feel like I'm going through this fast, but I don't like to make the videos too long, but I do move kind of fast, and Saint Germain is another one of those guides that moves kind of fast like Merlin does. He wants me to check in with Lady Portia, so I want to see if Lady Portia has anything to say right now. She's just reminding us to live from the heart, to be pure of nature, and to be pure in the ways that we share, again, with our gifts to the world, and align with the frequency of justice and order, and call on her and the galactics and the Ascended Masters to bring in the vibration of divine order and peace and rule over the land, so that all can inherit its abundance, so that all can be keepers of the abundance that is theirs, the holders of the abundance or receivers of the abundance that is theirs. And she's just highlighting that it's really important that there's a feeling and sense of divine order and peace to find, so that the resources can go to where they need to go. There's a lot of greed and hoarding going on, so that feeling of hoarding, she's saying watch out for that feeling or needing to hoard for the prosperity of one. It really, like, things need to be just flowing outwardly and inwardly, and you don't want to restrict the flow of abundance by blocking it in one area, by holding on to something, too much of something. The feeling is it needs to be dispersed and given to the areas that are lacking. So donations, charity, supporting people that are truly in need and lacking, supporting your brothers and sisters in a way that is the sense is like social justice. Those types of causes are really important to pay attention to. What are you drawn to? And she's showing donating time as well. Donating time and energy is the same thing as giving money. So in food and anything that you have to offer, just your love and support, and even, you can meditate on that too. So there's a lot of ways that we can show our love for the world that isn't just in a physical representation. We can, send love energetically. We can do energetic healings and grid work and all sorts of things to really connect with the giving side of ourselves, that what we can offer to the world. So they want you to reflect on what you can offer and give more offerings in that way to support that, to help balance that greed, because there are people out there that are very greedy and they're holding on to things and they're scared. They're mining resources for their own benefit and not thinking of others, not thinking in terms of others. So just doing that more, I think, is important. Giving more freely in any ways that you can, it will come back to you, and that's how miracles are truly manifested, through your willingness to give without expectation, and your openness to receive without expectation allows all of the glory of God to flow, like in and out, like through and to you, through you and to you. It feels like. So another thing that kind of popped in, two cards from different decks that were pretty much the same. One was from Metatron's deck, and one was from the Angel Prayers deck by Kyle Gray. And they're both signs from heaven, basically. Signs from spirit, signs from heaven. Thank you, heaven, for sending me reminders of your presence. So Saint Germain is just highlighting the fact that there are many, many signs. We're getting a lot of signs of confirmation and validation that we're on the right path, that we are, heading in the right direction. A lot of positive signs are coming in. So he's saying, look for those signs and ignore the rest. Only tune to what resonates and what brings you joy and what makes you excited. So if you are getting signs of confirmation for something, then leave the rest behind and just tune to that, because there's significance there. So in order to get signs, sometimes you have to ask for signs, and sometimes you have to be specific. And I've been learning, and this is all about manifestation. So Saint Germain feels today like his main message is really about manifesting your power and using all of your powers to manifest, which is a similar theme of what Merlin was talking about in my last video, because it's really so important, because now is really the time where we're really creating. We're manifesting at an accelerated rate. So we want to be very aligned with our own intentions of what we're creating and how we are actually physically creating that and bringing that vibration, anchoring that vibration into the physical. Like, what vibration are we vibrating at, and how can we help not just lift our own vibration, but lift those of others, and how can we bring in, how can we learn how to rely more on the universe to respond to us, to give us the signs and communicate with us in a way that we can feel loved and supported and like backed by the universe, and trusting in the universe in a way that builds our faith and these connections that we have to the higher dimensions, our spirit guides. So he's really wanting us to ask our spirit guides more for signs that they're around, that they're supporting us. And the galactics, he's saying, are coming in louder and clearer now more than ever as our guides. So really pay attention to how they are around you as well, and look for signs that they are around, because I feel like they're showing us more and more ways that they are helping us. And we just need to tune to that more, that energy more. And they want me to share, if you're interested in learning how to channel the galactics, or tune into the different galactic races that are out there. I mean, there's so many, and I don't know all of them. Obviously, there's like probably an infinite number of galactic races, but there are some very common ones that have incarnated on Earth, like that some of us have had lifetimes as prior to incarnating on Earth. So those different races I am exploring in my private Facebook group called Intuitive Soul Rising. Same name as my channel. You can go, that is, I was getting mixed up with my business page. But anyways, Intuitive Soul Rising, the link to that private group is in the description box below. If you're interested in joining, the events are free at this time. We will get to a point where we will take some donations for the work that we're doing in that group, because we do a lot of events. We do at least one event a week, but sometimes more, depending on what's going on. So, and they're live events and they're private, so you can join in the comments and you can practice along with us. And sometimes there's opportunities to come on camera. And basically, I'm doing a series called Meet the Galactics, in once a month on Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I bring in a new galactic race, at least one or two different races, and then I have people come on screen with me from my group that have guides of those or ties to those galactics, and then we practice channeling and bringing in the guides and channeling messages from them, and sensing them clairsentiently and hearing them clairaudiently. So we use the clairs, and it's kind of a practice thing, but it's also very expansive because, we receive messages and develop really strong connections with each other and to the guides. So getting to know the guides in that way is really fun, and I think on the forefront of what we're being called to do as a community, is to really pull in these forces of light to help us and to guide us in this ascension process. So they're drawing my attention to the galactic cards I pulled from the galactics. What are the messages from the galactics about these shifts and changes? One is Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, and teacher. Saint Germain is saying many of you are called to become teachers and share as a mystic on this path. And so mystical journeys of exploration, of self-exploration, many of you are being called to go. And he's almost showing like pilgrimages, like going to actually on location, sacred sites, visiting them. It doesn't have to be in some far off land. It can be a sacred site that's in your local community. So, he's talking about Native American sites. There's ancient sites all over the globe. So, pick a site that you feel called to. It could just be nature. It could be a mountain. It's all sacred in a sense. So just go to these sites and if you're feeling called to do like a mystical journey of some sort, physically go to a location that will pull in that energy or help you connect to that higher energy as well. And so, and then the pathway of the priestess and high priest, bringing back, they're showing me this image as kind of representing like also Atlantis, our Atlantean lifetimes, and all of that is starting to kind of come back. All of that ancient knowledge is coming back up out of the earth to be revealed. So there seems to be more to come with that also in the future with some of these shifts and changes that are happening. Like more ancient knowledge is going to come to like front and center, come to be accepted as truth by a wider variety of people. And more is to be revealed, I'm hearing. I'm also, so I see this card as soul family, and it's calling your tribe, and you don't have to do it alone. And they kind of already talked about that, but they're really focusing me in on the whales and the dolphins, because this has come up like this is the third time the theme of whales and dolphins have been come up, and how they're helping us, and how they're very Pleiadian and galactic in nature in their ties to the higher dimensions. And it's just like, let's honor them and what they bring in. It feels like, if there's efforts to like save the whales, that's a good cause to be a part of. The oceans, cleaning up the oceans is really important. Our water source needs to be more purified, is what, and blessed. He's showing, saying blessings for the water to be fully healed and fully purified in vibration and frequency, because that's what feeds the whole earth. Is really, we are really a planet of water beings, that evolved from the water, the element of water, and so we need to honor the water. He's saying that's very, very important. Sometimes we forget about the importance of our oceans, and so I feel like we're just being guided to really protect our oceans and the life forms there, because they are high dimensional and they do bring in a lot of light for the planet, and they help us a lot in that way. And then they're drawing my attention also to this card, which came from Metatron's deck, and it's the color red, but red represents the root chakra, the base chakra, where all of our fears and insecurities are born from, I'm hearing, and that's where a lot of the energy is needing to be transmuted, not just on the planet, but with the individuals. There's a lot of root chakra work that needs to be done to really clear from the ground up, he's saying, from the earth, these darker, like toxic energies, blocked energies. And it's all about safety, strength, and power. It's all about getting your feeling of safety and your sense of power back and strength back. So that's what we're in the process of collecting and earning right now, is our power and our strength. We need to free up the energy that's blocked so that we can get our strength and power back, our lightness, our lightheartedness back, our playful sides back. It's just been too heavy for a while. I feel like this energy is ready to lift, and he's showing that's why he's being called to come in so strongly today, because it's really, I'm going to take a lot of power of transmutation, and the violet flame is really the strongest tool that I'm aware of that can help that take place at a faster rate. So he's really wanting to call on the violet flame and to learn, the ways of the violet flame and the ways of utilizing that energy. There's books on that if you're guided to call on his energy more. There's a lot of things you can read about him on the internet, and just good information about Saint Germain. He's really one of our main guides as far as ascended masters go, and helping us clean up our own dense energies and that of the collective and the earth. So I felt like there was a couple last things, but the last thing is patience. He's saying just have patience. Remember to have patience in this process. It takes time to heal. It takes time to integrate. Not everybody is going at the same pace. Not everybody is moving on the same path or trajectory or going at the same pace. So you got to really hold your light. You just got to be steadfast in holding your light. Just align with your joy and create in your own life the life that you want everybody to have. And focus on that, and all will be good. All will be well. And he's saying we'll take care of the rest. And he's also, in the last card, reminding me of the infinity sign and the power of that sign to bring forth abundance and a feeling like your cup is full. No more half empty. It's always full. Your cup is always full and overflowing. That is the goal for you, to experience your most fulfilling life, is to feel like your cup is overflowing with your vitality and strength, power, enlightenment, love, that you have plenty to give. You have enough to give others and plenty left over for yourself. And that is the goal for mankind, for all humans to experience that, all animals, all creatures of earth, to have that feeling of prosperity and abundance. And so hold that frequency for all, and see that as the bigger picture, the higher outcome, and tune your frequency to that, and you'll manifest that. So the infinity sign is the symbol that you want to really focus in on to help create that infinite potential, infinite creator potential. Abundance for all is the feeling. So, in gold again, the color gold. Gold is the power color. Color. I feel like gold is really the power color when it comes for prosperity, and that's what he's showing spring is all about. It's all about renewal and new life and prosperity. So this is a feeling of abundance because everyone's giving birth and creating new life, and so that's just bringing more joy and more life to the planet. So We're coming out of like a darker time with the winter and more time of self-reflection and hibernation, moving into springing forward into the spring, into the new. Where pretty soon we'll be coming into the summer solstice. Then that will be the next one in June, and the next transition in cycles. So I feel like whatever we create and plan and however we prepare in the spring is what's really going to have us, is going to produce abundance in June, in those summer months. We're really going to feel the effects of that, is what he's saying. So really plant the seeds for prosperity now. Focus on that now, on that energy now, and that will help shift the collective onto the right track that will lead to that for all, that higher outcome for all. So some beautiful messages that came through today from Saint Germain, Archangel Orion, and Lady Portia and Mercury. How can I forget? And so I'm really, yeah, that was a lot. Kind of came in fast, but sometimes it's good to be quick about it. So let me know how you guys feel about those messages coming in, and what you're sensing and feeling about the equinox energies. Would love to hear that as well. I'm sure we'll talk more about all of this in our group sessions. I also, in my private group, but I also have a mediumship practice session that happens on Thursdays in my private group. Now this is every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's just an opportunity to practice different techniques that are used to kind of open up our intuitive abilities and expand our clairs, to help us better communicate with our spirit guides and receive intuitive guidance. And so those practices have turned out to be a lot of fun. And I do have Con Knight, another medium that I work with, who is helping me host those. So he also has his own YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, check out connight.com on YouTube. And that's spelled KHANKNIGHT.com. His YouTube channel. I could probably leave a link to that in this as well, because we all work together and we're all friends here, and we're all here to support each other and support each other's growth and to get the message out, because we really want to help everybody align with their higher selves and really learn how to trust their own intuitive guidance, because that's really, like, you are the best at discerning essentially what's right for you and what's wrong for you. So the more you tune to that awareness, the more you are confident in your own abilities to manifest what you want. So thank you again, all the guides that's up forward today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe, and do please hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I release more content like this. I do have a tendency to release at least 2 to 3 lately, new channeled messages a week sometimes, sometimes even more than that, and I do live shows that are on my channel as well. So tune in more to Intuitive Soul Rising, and I will see you next time. Bye.